What's up everybody, welcome back. Today, we're counting down the wildest, funniest work fails of the week, handpicked from thousands of your submissions. These are the moments when confidence meets catastrophe. Quick disclaimer, these are real people making real mistakes. Don't try this at home or work. We're here to laugh, not to repeat their disasters. If you love epic fails, hit that like and subscribe. Let's see if we can hit 1 million likes. Alright, let's dive into the chaos. We kick things off in a massive warehouse, the kind that stretches as far as the eye can see, with rows upon rows of towering shelves stacked high with boxes. The hum of machinery fills the air, and the floor is a maze of pallets, crates, and busy workers. It's the kind of place where everything needs to run like clockwork. Or else. Enter Forklift Frank, the self-proclaimed king of the warehouse. Today Frank's got a swagger in his step, and a grin on his face. He's been driving forklifts for years, and he's convinced he can do no wrong. Maybe it's the new guy watching, or maybe Frank just wants to show off a little. But either way, he's feeling a little too confident for his own good. Frank lines up his forklift to pick up a heavy pallet, but he's coming in at a terrible angle. Anyone else might pause, back up, and try again. Not Frank. He's got an audience, and he's not about to lose face. Instead of fixing his approach, he rams the forks in, hoping brute force will do the trick. The pallet jerks, the box on top wobbles dangerously, and Frank's heart skips a beat. But instead of stopping, he panics and tries to save it by lifting faster, thinking speed will somehow fix his mistake. The box teeters on the edge, and for a split second, it looks like he might pull it off. But then, disaster. The box tips off the pallet, crashes into the next shelf, and sets off a chain reaction. One shelf buckles, then another, and suddenly it's a full-blown domino effect. Shelves collapse in rapid succession, sending boxes and products tumbling everywhere. The sound is pure chaos, metal screeching, boxes bursting open, alarms blaring. In a matter of seconds, an entire aisle is flattened. What was once a neatly organized warehouse now looks like a disaster zone, with debris scattered as far as the eye can see. Frank sits frozen in his forklift, surrounded by wreckage and regret. His hands are still gripping the controls, but his confidence has vanished. Around him, co-workers stare in shock, some with their mouths hanging open, others already reaching for their phones. The guy filming can't help but laugh, capturing every second for the group chat. The rest of the crew tries to stifle their giggles, but the damage is done. Frank's career? Well, let's just say it's not looking as sturdy as those shelves used to be. This is what happens when showing off goes wrong. One moment of bravado and suddenly you're the star of a warehouse disaster video. The lesson: sometimes it's better to be safe than to be impressive. The aftermath is brutal. Tens of thousands of dollars in damage, ruined products, and a cleanup job that'll take days. All because Frank wanted to add a little flair to his forklift routine. The warehouse manager is already on the phone with insurance, and the rest of the team is quietly grateful it wasn't them. If there's one lesson here, it's this: don't let your ego drive the forklift. Safety rules exist for a reason, and no amount of experience can make up for a reckless move. Frank's going to be sitting through a lot of safety training after this one. Frank, you're a legend now, but for all the wrong reasons. His story will be told for years, a cautionary tale for every new hire who thinks they know better. Let's move on before the boss shows up and things get even messier. Next fail. Meet Larry the Ladder, a man whose confidence is only matched by his willingness to challenge the laws of nature. Larry's the kind of guy who believes that with enough determination, a little bit of luck, and a sturdy pair of boots, he can conquer any height. He's been working in construction for years, and he's seen it all, or so he thinks. Today, he's got a simple job: fix a loose shingle on the second story. But for Larry, even the simplest tasks can turn into a test of bravery, balance, and, unfortunately, common sense. As he climbs up, you can see that look in his eyes, the one that says, "I've got this." He flashes a confident grin at his coworker below, certain that he's about to make quick work of the job. Larry's convinced he can outsmart physics, and maybe even gravity itself. After all, he's done this 100 times before. What could possibly go wrong? But as he reaches the top, he realizes the shingle is just out of reach. Instead of climbing down and moving the ladder a few feet over, Larry decides to lean, just a little. It's only a few inches, right? He stretches, balancing on one foot, his body tilting further and further away from the ladder's center. His co-worker watches nervously, knowing this is a recipe for disaster. The base of the ladder starts to shift, the rubber feet losing their grip on the pavement. Larry's partner shouts a warning, waving his arms, and urging him to stop. But Larry is committed now. He's sure he can grab that shingle before anything bad happens. He ignores the warning, focused only on the task at hand. Suddenly, the inevitable happens. The ladder kicks out from under him, and for a brief, Heart-stopping moment, Larry is suspended in midair, arms flailing, eyes wide with surprise. Time seems to slow as he realizes he's no longer in control. Then, with a crash, he and the ladder hit the ground, in a tangled heap of aluminum and limbs. Miraculously, Larry isn't seriously hurt. He sits up, rubbing his head and looking around sheepishly. His pride, however, is in pieces, scattered across the driveway along with the ladder. His co-workers try to hide their smirks as they check to make sure he's okay. The camera catches every moment, Larry's groan of pain, the awkward silence, and the aftermath of his failed stunt. It's a scene that will be replayed in safety meetings for years to come. The lesson here is simple, but it bears repeating: always move the ladder. No shortcut is worth risking your safety. Gravity doesn't care how experienced you are, or how many times you've gotten away with it before. It always wins in the end. Take the extra minute to do it right. Larry, thanks for the reminder. Painful as it was, let's all learn from his mistake and remember, don't shortcut safety, folks. Your pride will heal, but your bones might not. Now let's see what's next on the fail train. Stay tuned for more lessons in what not to do on the job site. Two painters, a pristine apartment, and a giant bucket of paint. Spilly Nelson tries to step over the bucket. His boot catches, and the entire 5 gallons pour out. The paint floods the floor, turning the room into a modern art disaster. Both painters freeze, realizing the cleanup nightmare ahead. The supervisor's hands go to his head. Spilly just stares at his traitorous foot. The time-lapse camera captures every second of their horror. Lesson: walk around, not over. That's one way to redecorate. Let's keep the messes coming. Next fail. On a construction site, a glazier tries to move 5 massive glass panes on a wobbly dolly. Alone, the dolly hits a crack, the glass tilts, and he desperately tries to stop it. Too late, the panes crash to the floor, exploding into a million pieces. He stands in a sparkling sea of failure, paycheck gone with the glass. The co-worker filming can't help but laugh. Sometimes saving a trip costs you everything. Don't be a hero, be safe. That's a glitter bomb of regret. Let's see who's next. Moving on. Picture this, a gleaming marble lobby floor, so polished you can practically see your own reflection. The janitor has just finished his work, leaving behind a trail of sparkling cleanliness, and of course, a giant can't-miss-it wet floor sign standing tall and proud in the middle of the hallway. The air smells faintly of lemon-scented cleaner, and the whole place looks like it's ready for a magazine photo shoot. It's the kind of floor that dares you to walk across it without slipping. A silent challenge to anyone who enters. Now, enter our main character, a sharply dressed man in a crisp business suit, striding confidently into the lobby. But there's a catch. He's completely absorbed in his smartphone, thumbs flying, eyes glued to the screen, totally oblivious to the world around him. He doesn't even glance up at the glaring yellow warning sign. Maybe he's answering an urgent email, maybe he's scrolling through social media, or maybe he's just lost in a game. Whatever it is, he's in his own little digital bubble, completely unaware of the danger lurking just ahead. In a split second, it happens. He steps right onto the freshly mopped section, and his feet betray him. One moment he's upright, the next he's airborne, arms flailing, briefcase flying, and time seems to slow down as he glides across the floor in a spectacular, unintentional slip and slide. He covers a good 10 feet before landing flat on his back, the sound echoing through the lobby. It's the kind of wipeout you only see in cartoons or viral videos, and it's happening in real life, right here. His phone skitters away, spinning across the marble like a hockey puck, while his once pristine suit is now soaked and wrinkled. He lies there, dazed, staring up at the ceiling, probably wondering how his day took such a dramatic turn. Around him, the lobby is silent except for the faint hum of the air conditioning and the distant sound of his phone buzzing somewhere out of reach. Off to the side, the janitor watches the whole scene unfold. He just shakes his head, a mix of sympathy and exasperation on his face. After all, he did everything right. Mopped the floor, put up the sign, and even made sure it was extra visible. Sometimes, you can only do so much to protect people from themselves. And of course, the security cameras caught every second of the action, from multiple angles no less. This is the kind of footage that's destined to become office legend, replayed at holiday parties and safety meetings for years to come. It's a reminder that the world is always watching, especially when you least expect it. Let this be a lesson to us all. Pay attention to your surroundings. It's easy to get lost in your phone, but sometimes, looking up for just a second can save you from a world of embarrassment, and maybe even a trip to the ER. Safety signs aren't just decorations, they're there for a reason. So, if you're looking to make a memorable entrance, or a dramatic exit, this is certainly one way to do it. But trust us, there are better ways to get noticed at work than sliding across the lobby on your back. Stick around for more workplace wisdom and cautionary tales. We've got plenty more stories to share. So let's roll on to the next one. Back to the construction site. This time, a cement mixer disaster. Two guys forget to secure the drum latch before moving the mixer. The drum tips and wet concrete pours everywhere. On the ground, the tools, and one unlucky coworker. Boots become part of the landscape, and the cleanup will take hours. The guy who caused it just stands there defeated. Rushing costs more than it saves. Always double check your setup. That's a solid mess, literally. Let's see who's next in line for disaster. Onward. Here's a quick one. An electrician's apprentice with an angle grinder and zero caution. He freehands a cut on a metal pipe, no clamp, just holding it. As he cuts, there's a blinding flash. He's hit a live electrical wire. The grinder dies, the power's out, and he's lucky to be alive. His stunned face says it all. Always check for live wires before cutting. Electricity and power tools don't mix without safety. That's a shocking lesson. Let's keep the sparks flying. Safely. Next, fail. Doorbell cam time. A delivery driver with a box labeled fragile in giant letters. Instead of setting it down, he drops it from waist height onto concrete. The crunch is unmistakable. Something inside is definitely broken. He snaps a delivery photo and walks away, oblivious to the camera. Somewhere, a customer's day is ruined. This is why we have trust issues with deliveries. Handle with care means nothing to some. Let's hope it was insured. Next up, Rooftop regrets. Moving on. On a roof, a worker decides to show off his parkour skills. He leaps from the peak to a lower section, but lands wrong and slides down the shingles. His friends go from cheering to panicking as he slides right off the edge. Luckily, he lands in bushes. Not a hospital trip, just a bruised ego. A roof is not a playground. Don't try to impress your friends 15 feet up. Gravity always wins. That's a lesson in humility. Let's wrap this up with our final fail. Finale time. Our grand finale. A woman faces off with a glass door labeled push. She pulls, tugs, and battles the handle, ignoring the giant sign. A coworker films her struggle, stifling laughter. After 30 seconds of frustration, she finally notices the sign. The realization hits. She gives a tiny push, and the door swings open. She walks out, mortified. We've all been there. Sometimes the answer is right in front of us. The ultimate facepalm. Remember, read the signs. That's a wrap on this week's fails. Thanks for sticking around for the best of the worst. Let's close it out. Final thoughts coming up. That's it for this week's epic fails. Which one was your favorite? Drop it in the comments. Best one wins a prize. If you enjoyed the chaos, hit like and subscribe for more every week. We're on the road to 100 million subscribers. Join the journey. Stay safe. Learn from these mistakes. And don't be an idiot at work. See you next time for more legendary fails.